Hey everybody, welcome back to Grunt Reviews. I have been excited to get my hands on one of these since these were announced. We're going to do an unboxing and install and kind of initial thoughts here on the Primary Arms HTX-1 Red Dot. So without further ado, nice cardboard box. We have a nice Pelican case or Pelican style case that it comes in with their branding. And then inside the case, we have a nice quick start guide, and they did a very, very good job with the mounting instructions, and you'll see these colors in a second. Of course, we have our full user manual here. We have the optic itself, which is absolutely sealed up and gorgeous. These are 100% US made, so this is not just something that they throw together here. I believe they do everything from the boards, the housing, all of it, and I think the only thing somewhat foreign comes out of Germany, if I remember correctly. That is either the diode or the crystal for the diode. But we get the optic itself. We have the tool here, and this fits very nicely. So you have your center point on the side of your battery door, but you also have the 4 additional points to really lock it in there. So good job on the tool here. We get a couple of L Torx keys for installation. And then the cool part about this, we get the mounting plates. So the blue plate corresponds to the RMR A cut, the green RMR B, and then the yellow is for the Glock MOS system. So we have the blue, we have obviously the green. Stick that back in there. We have the yellow, and then what's really nice is all of our hardware is color-coded and labeled as well. So for the optic itself, the front and the side screws are labeled and packaged separately. Very, very nice job there. Blue screws, green screws. I believe those are a little bit longer or shorter and longer on the blues. And then we have our yellows. I'm going to tuck those back in there, and I'm going to go grab the firearm that this is going to go on. It's going on a dark forge, so this will be the RMR, the RMR A style. So this is with the flat screw bosses, and then the recoil bosses are raised elsewhere. The B style is going to be for those raised style screws where the screw hole is the mounting lug. Let me go grab the firearm. All right, so we're going to be putting this on the Dark Forge X Covert, and this is a super low RMR only cut. Does have the recoil bosses, and the screws do sit flush. So I'll put the instructions out here for you. This is going to be the RMR A type, and pardon the lighting there. So since that's blue, we are going to grab our blue plate, and this will be the real test if it drops right on there. And it does. Locks right in perfectly on those recoil lugs. Great amount of lockup there. Set that off to the side. Let me grab the blue screws. And let's see here. So these are 2 different thread pitches. I apologize, not 2 different lengths. So a 6x32 and a 4x40. So give me just a second. We're going to see which one we need here. All right, so slight change of plans. The Dark Forge cut itself, even though it's what they would call an A-style cut, The slide is actually threaded for those 440 screws due to the width of their cut. If they went any bigger, they'd be popping through the side of it. So we did switch over. We are now using the RMR-B, and we're going to go ahead and torque this down. I have got my handy Fix-It-Sticks kit here, and Dark Forge specifies 15 foot-pounds on their instructions, and they recommend 12 to 13 by Primary Arms. So I'm going to go with Dark Forge on this, and nice and torqued. Nice and torqued. So, good solid lockup, good solid fit, beautiful in that cut, and even before cranking the screws down, minimal motion. So, we will notice we have 2 screws here. These are going to be for the front that line up here, and then we have 2 side screws, and it will sit just as so. I'm going to get these mounted down real quick. Got it on there and got it torqued down. First impressions, this thing sits low. So if you'll notice, Dark Forge has a small cut right in here for the SRO or either the RMR HD. So it sits probably another, I'm going to say 1/8 inch without fully measuring. But I would have no doubt, looking at the line there along the slide, that this would co-witness with standard height sights with no issue. Being a little bit shorter, we'll get into some holster compatibility in our range review video on this. This is the ACSS reticle. So as you can see there, we have a segmented circle with a 4 MOA dot, and I've got it turned up pretty bright for the camera. That circle will come off if we push and hold the plus button, and then we have just our 4 MOA dot. We can obviously increase and decrease the brightness settings here. It is powered by a 2032 battery. I'll put it up there if I was wrong, but the pretty standard coin battery that everything else takes, the Acros, the Vortexes, your super common ones there. They are claiming a 20,000 hour battery life with this. Not sure if that is the standard 4 MOA dot or if that is going to be, and I'll turn that back up there, or if that is going to be with the circle as well. Either way, we'll say if we're getting 10,000 hours out of it, there is a little over 8,700 in a year. So you should get a full year of use out of this. And if you're like me, you pick a date every year and you change out all the batteries in your optics just to make life easier. Size-wise, like I said, I'm really loving how low that actually sits there. One thing I've noticed here indoors, and I'm going to try to catch it on camera, is there is a bit of a weird reflection. So if you look right there, kind of on either side of the dot, it's almost like the dot reflects on the housing. We'll see how that plays out at the range. I could see the potential for somebody mistaking that for a dot, but as you can see, as you start moving towards it, it disappears. Let's turn on that segmented circle again. See if that... Whoop. There we go. Let's see if that disappears with the segmented. It kind of blends in. I think that would change a little bit. Only thing I see out of the box that is concerning is that little reflection. Glass quality is absolutely fantastic on this. Both buttons to turn it off. And of course we do have Shake Awake on it as well too. Buttons are very nice and tactile. They're a good size to get your finger on. They have a good responsive click to them without being either too hard or too easy to push. So I don't think you'll have any accidental button pushes there. Get that turned back off. There we go. Not a lot of the bluish tint. Kind of hard to tell on this table. There's a little bit of a tint to it, but not nearly as bad as like an RMR, or an RMR HD, or an RCR, any of the Trijicon products. I've seen ones a little bit less tinted, but this is definitely very doable. All in all, really like the size, really like the shape. Obviously, if you did have to use this optic to rack the slide forcibly, you do have a nice little ledge where you can grab it. That lens is recessed down in there, and yes, I'll do it because somebody's going to say something. It is clear. But that lens has a nice recession down in there, should protect it from any sort of impact or anything like that. Window size, I'm going to say it's a little bit bigger than an Acro P2, a little bit smaller than an RMR HD. It kind of reminds me of the original RMR, but no fish eyeing or anything like that I'm seeing off the bat. And of course, we will get this out to the range. We'll put some rounds through it, daylight. We'll do some nighttime stuff as well. But just wanted to give you an initial look. At $600-700 might be a little hard to swallow for some people, but we will definitely see if the quality's there. And I'm looking forward to getting some rounds through this. Guys, as always, I do appreciate your time watching this. Stay safe and train like they hate you.